Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So ever since MSI, this has actually been a video that I've been wanting to make. I've just been waiting for the right time. Obviously, we got caught up with a ton of off-season craziness. We're preparing for summer splits and all that, but I just wanted one last time to look back at MSI a little bit and also look forward to the future because as fun as the domestic leagues are, they don't really matter all that much, and Worlds is the next big thing on the horizon. Worlds is the next big thing to happen in the League of Legends world, more so than whatever happens in the regular season, whatever happens in the playoffs. It doesn't matter that much. And one of the big things going into Worlds, obviously, now the LCK has 4 spots, and a lot of people are saying, oh, LPL and LCK each have 4 spots, like NA's doomed, EU's doomed. But I want to take this video to make my case of why I believe right now the LCK is perhaps the most overrated region in the League of Legends world. Before we get into that, you guys haven't already, take a second, smash that like button. I would appreciate it a ton. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into it. So, I know this might not be the most popular opinion. Maybe some people will agree with me. Maybe some people won't. But I just want to plead my case because this is something I definitely believe pretty strongly in. Again, when we look at all 4, maybe even all 5 of the regions, if you want to count Southeastern Asia with how everything went down in MSI, everyone right now is saying that, yeah, clearly the top 2 regions are the LPL and LCK. Everyone thought it was going to be an LPL-LCK final. It ended up being that. It was a banger of a tournament, banger of a final. And again, going into Worlds, a lot of people are looking out for these teams. And obviously, historically, Korea has been very, very highly rated for a very, very good reason. They have insane results. They've had insane players. They have the most championships, the best international results of all time. But right now in 2021, there are a lot of people who have Korea as the #1 region in the conversation for the #1 region. Some people have them pretty confidently as a #2 region, and I would kind of honestly disagree with all that stuff. I think there's almost no case to be made for Korea being the #1 region in League of Legends right now, and I think there's even a case to be made for Korea as perhaps the 3rd best region, which is why I think they are perhaps the most overrated. Now, when we look at the spring split from every single region, which we can take a look at real quick, the LCK was actually the least competitive region, you could say, in terms of Damwon Kia was 16-2. They dropped just 2 series to Brian and Gen G, I believe. Yes, Gen G. So they went 16-2. Gen G finished 2nd. They took a game off them. They also lost a series to the team at the bottom. You know, whatever. Obviously, everyone has off days, off games. When we took a look at the match results, 33-10, 77% win rate. Nobody was close to that. This team won the Kespa Cup. When we go to spring playoffs, this team, I believe, swept through the playoffs. Yes, 3-0 against Hanwha Life, 3-0 against Gen G. Damwon was absolutely the best team in Korea. Preseason, regular season, playoffs, they almost had no competition. They really dominated Korea. When we take a look at some of the other regions and the teams that they sent to MSI, there's a case to be made, I think, in every single region that the best team didn't go to MSI, and that can absolutely happen because playoffs, while yes, best of 5s are much more indicative of actually getting the best team, playoffs is still just played on a single patch. Teams sometimes have off days, off games, off series, bad matchups, bad drafts, unlucky circumstances. There's so many different reasons why sometimes the best team doesn't actually make it to MSI. And when we take a look at this, you know, in the regular season, yes, Cloud9 was the best team, but they were just 1 game ahead of TSM and TL, only 2 games ahead of 100 Thieves and Dignitas. Things were very, very close. And then when we actually get into the playoffs or the midseason showdown, you know, things weren't necessarily super dominant for C9, a 3-0, but then a 3-1, and then a 3-2 in the finals against a sub jungler. You know, it wasn't super convincing. There's a case to be made that perhaps Team Liquid was the best team in NA. Over in the LPL, yes, RNG had the best record in the regular season, but FunPlus was very, very good. EDG was right there, and RNG even dropped a series in the playoffs. So that is very, very scary for the team that ended up winning MSI to actually have dropped a series in the playoffs. You know, that shows what's going on over there. And then in the LEC, I think this is the clearest case where Mad Lions actually went 10-8 in the regular season. They were, you know, 4 games behind not only G2 but also Rogue, and they go on to obviously win the playoffs, make it to MSI. And Damwon, you know, struggled with some of these teams at MSI. They ended up having a very, very good record. They only lost 1 game in the first round. Then the second round, I believe they only lost 2 games, both to RNG, but they had close games with Detonation Focus Me. They had close games with PSG Talent. They had close games with Cloud9 and even dropped a game to Cloud9. They only beat Mad Lions 3-2 in the semifinals. And again, there's a real case to be made that Mad Lions is potentially the third best team in the LEC. And then obviously in the finals, yes, they did make things close with RNG, but they end up dropping. And this is the absolute best of the best of Korea. This team dominated the LCK. This was the best team that the LCK had to offer. Yes, some of the other teams in the LCK were still pretty solid and looked pretty good and looked very formidable, you know, and people are projecting them to do very, very well at Worlds. But I think a lot of those teams are just riding on, one, the success of Damwon, both at last year's Worlds and at this year's MSI, and the historical performances of Korea. Are the second, third, fourth best teams in Korea actually just going to go to Worlds and dominate all these North American, PCS, European teams? I don't know. I'm not totally convinced. Again, with these teams being really, you know, beat so convincingly and so often by Damwon Kia, I don't think that just because Korea has historically been super, super good, that it necessarily means that is what's going to happen at this year's Worlds. This Damwon is a worse version of the Damwon we saw last year that won Worlds. You know, pretty much everyone would agree with that. They don't look the same with Khan up in the top lane. They are not as dominant. They are not as scary. And again, they didn't even win MSI. And this team dominated Korea still in the regular season, in the playoffs, all throughout. They have really been the best team. Now, who knows how Summer Split's going to go? Maybe Damwon will bump down a peg. Maybe some team will make a run. Maybe they'll look so cohesive. Maybe they'll look so great. But in the current state of things, I think saying that Korea is for sure the second best region or even in contention for #1 is really, really silly. To me, the LPL is the best region in the world right now, and it is not even close. Just because they didn't win Worlds last year, they still overall probably had the best performances from multiple different teams at Worlds. They have now won MSI. They have been getting better and better each year. That league is so stacked, so deep, so many teams. And then when you go to take a look at the second best region in the world, I think there is a real case for Europe to be made here. I don't think we can just write off Europe because, again, we saw Mad Lions take Damwon 3-2. They took it to 5 games, and this, again, is what I don't believe to be the best team in Europe with the team that absolutely dominated the LCK. So, yes, while Rogue didn't quite get it done in the playoffs, and yes, G2 looked absolutely horrible in the playoffs, if G2, Rogue, you know, even Vitality is able to find themselves a little bit over the course of the summer split, come into the playoffs stronger, go into Worlds stronger, I think they're going to be able to go neck and neck with Damwon just like Mad Lions was able to, even maybe be a little bit more competitive with them. But I think I would honestly favor a G2, a Rogue, and even a Mad Lions against the second, third, fourth best teams in Korea. I don't think that those teams are just going to absolutely stomp on European and North American teams like maybe they did historically, and also even North American teams, which everyone kind of writes them up, everyone wants to meme them and everything, but Cloud9 just honestly had a really, really respectable performance at MSI, and again, I personally am of the belief that Team Liquid can be better than them, that Team Liquid is a more talented team, and on the right day, Team Liquid can have better performances. And again, when Cloud9 was able to stand up to Damwon, how they were able to at MSI, I just think once we have multiple teams there and we're facing against not just Damwon, not the best team that Korea has to offer, not the team that absolutely stomped the other teams over in Korea. We have the second best, third best, fourth best, whoever that be, whether it's Gen.G, Hanwha Life, T1, whoever. I think that this might be a year that we see an underperformance at Worlds from Korea. And right now, I think a lot of people, fans, analysts, everyone out there is overrating them a little bit. And for some reason, I don't think enough people are talking about it. But I just want to get my thoughts and opinions out there. Pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Korea is overrated, underrated? Who do you think the most overrated region is? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully, catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!